I draw dragons like this almost every day. Today I thought I would share my process for how I would draw one and kind of walk through the steps that I take. I start off a lot of the time just by drawing a squiggly line. I have to decide if I want it to be confined within one page or spread across the page. Maybe I'll do 2 of them. So I'll block out corner spaces. And I'm sketching with a pen. I always sketch with a ballpoint pen. So I have to decide where the head is going to be, and I'll mark that out with a circle. So if I wanted to put the head here, and then I will think the neck is going to swoop up around here and come down. Once I have a basic shape sketched out, I'll just start adding onto it. I like to try to keep them pretty loose and as flowy as I can. And I'll just kind of continue building off of something like this. Or I'll block out a rounded cone for the face. Nostrils would be about here and here. You know, eyes are gonna be in this general area, the neck, and then you can start like deciding what kind of fur it's gonna have. Where is the fur gonna flow to? And around this time, I've kind of got an idea of the neck and the shape of the head. I will block out where the legs will go. Depends on how long the body's gonna be and like if it's gonna have legs at all. I think I'll have one of them begin here, and I'll just make a circle there. And I'll have the back legs be about there. So he's kind of sitting, you know, looking at you. That means that this is gonna become the spine. It begins here and it twists, and then it comes down and it like bends around, becomes so we have from a frontward facing perspective, bending around to a profile view of the body. I like to give all of my dragons some branchlers, or they're like antlers, but they're tree branches. It's just kind of my thing, I guess. You start with the main branch and then you continuously add little strands coming off. It's important that the smaller branches that come off of the bigger branch are lighter, thinner in their line work. I like to make the legs match. I'll have this become its own branch. It's kind of feeding into the body there. I like to do this little hook shape. The leg's gonna be again the tail. Big, bushy, billowy tail. I want to make the swirl going inward. So I'll bring it that. And maybe I'll give it another one down here. I'll just do long, continuous line work to indicate long fur, long hair. I don't mind that the underneath lines don't match up perfectly. I like to see what was there first. Usually I would have done the eyes by now, but I didn't do it earlier, so I'll put them in. That's where the iris pupils are. Now I'm going gonna come in with I actually don't remember what the name is on Amazon. I got these from Amazon. It was a recommendation by Aaron Blaise, the director of Brother Bear. I was watching his videos. He's pretty cool. I like to begin adding darker lines with it because it has a very fine tip. Begin adding the little leaves. I like to give at least one little leaf to every branch. I really like drawing branches this way traditionally with ink, but I don't really like drawing them this way in digital art because I feel like with digital art, if I'm using a solid color like this to do branches, it doesn't, like, it'll do the job, but it just doesn't seem to have the same effect. It looks kind of flat, textureless to me. But somehow when I'm drawing on paper with ink, it feels just right. Like, it's not too much, it's not too little. I like to give my dragons a little bit of gold in their eyes. I can come back later and redraw the pupil, but I like having this sparkle in the eye. And I'll trace over the lines that I want to keep or to be most prominent. The lines that I'm not as concerned about, I'm gonna let them fade into the back. I'm not gonna worry about them, they don't bother me. I'm not erasing anything, it's all ink. I may give the leg branch some leaves as well to tie it into the one above and kind of show that they're made of the same material. The most important lines. Now I'm gonna choose the lines that I want to be the darkest and just bring them to the top by increasing the boldness, the contrast. The highest contrast will be what you see first. So I can use that to draw your eye where I want you to look. That means if I'm putting darker lines on top of the base layer lines that I did before, you're more likely to see the new lines that I've put on top than to look all the way through and see where I began. Also, the more lines you put in a single space, it'll make that space look darker. It's in shadow without fully blocking it in. It's okay if they overlap or if they're not totally perfect. Hair is kind of like that, especially on a creature like this. If you saw him out in the wild, I don't think anyone's conditioning and brushing his hair every day, so it doesn't have to be shampoo commercial worthy. Give him eyelids. He has a very small face, so to be very careful. I have Faber-Castell black ink brush pen, and I like to use this for making the boldest lines. I will usually use this to outline the silhouette. To help the dragon pop out from the sketch page. Sometimes I'll use it to separate certain body parts. When there's a lot going on in an area, it can be nice to have a big bold divider. The nice thing about toned paper is that you can work black, brown, and white. But I have the worst luck with white brush pens, and I can't seem to find one that will last or write very good. This one has been my favorite, but I got it from Taiwan, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it online, because I live in Oregon, and I can't just pop on over and get another one. But I'll give him a white mask. So there's our first dragon. And maybe for the second one, I'll do a close-up on the face. So I really like drawing dragon heads. Guess I'll leave that in the frame. So I'll do the same thing where I mark out where the corners are going to be. I might also put a shape in the center, like a frame. I'll have the head be down here. Line mark in the forehead, highlight, bring down the muzzle, scape the frame. Complete the muzzle, bring back the chin, the eyes spot. I really like placing my eyes on the lower side of the face. I think it makes them look friendlier. His bangs start about here. Feed back, and he has a nice long neck, so we're gonna go give him horns. Maybe they're more elaborate in the portrait. Maybe he can rapidly grow them out when he's feeling happy. In this area down here, it's looking kind of empty. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a beard. And I like to sometimes give them... Oh, my basil's grow light just turned off. Well, I guess it's had enough sun for one day. I think we still have enough light to finish the video. I like to give them little stars occasionally. Ornaments from the branches. And do the same concept where we'll take the fine liner, we'll come in. I often will start with the eyes. I just really like doing that. And he needs his gold, of course. And we'll fix that pupil, make it a little bit bigger when that gold dries. I'm gonna zoom in since it got darker. I get bored working on the same part of a drawing or a sculpture or whatever. I like to go around and around and work on different parts of it. Whenever I get bored of one part, I'll pick up a different pen and I'll work on a different side. But I really like building detail. I'm gonna take a break from lining and color in the stars. I've drawn so many of these dragons. It's become so chill for me. If I'm listening to anything or waiting for anything, I'll just start doodling one, and almost always I'll like how it will turn out. And I think it's because I'm not too worried about it coming out. Like, I don't have really a picture in my head of what I want it to look like. I just kind of start adding lines where they feel right. And since I have no expectations, I am never disappointed. Well, I suppose I do have a few expectations. I expect it to look woodsy and elegant and maybe a bit friendly, but those things aren't too hard to capture. Something I'd really like to get for this channel is a good mic. Maybe something I could clip to my shirt and wear that could connect to my phone, because I'm filming with my phone. I don't have a lot of money to invest into equipment right now, but I think a mic could really help. My channel is still a baby and brand new, but I'd really like to be able to make a living off of my art someday. So I'm looking for ways where I can take steps to make my videos better and grow. So I have the frame being broken down here by the nose and over here at the branches. I'm going to try something different today by detailing the frame, so I'll start with just outlining it. I'm beginning to think the frame of this portrait would look better in gold. Still thinking, it looks a little empty up in this corner. I want to add something. I'll probably give it a little bit of a tiny embellishment. I have made Chai a little window seat so that she can people watch while I film because she was getting bored. I want to try to add some white to the face. I have a couple white pens. This one is Posca, but it doesn't work very well for me. I've had really bad luck with Posca. We'll see if it'll treat me well today. Well, no. It's not working at all. This is another one from Taiwan. It's not too bad, but it doesn't have very much pigment. I am trying to cover up the frame line in the face just a bit, because I feel like the face is such a focal point. I really want it to be clear. Well, I think I should have closed the eyes on the one on the left, but I like how these turned out, and I hope you enjoyed watching the process of making them, and I hope you have a very good rest of your day. And if you happen to draw one of these dragons, or a dragon in a similar style, you can tag me as Mothmaru on almost every platform, and I'd love to see what you do.